How you guys doing? Welcome back to Country Mash. I hope you guys have been awesome, and today we're talking about a comfortable holster that I just got from my Glock 19 Gen 5 MOS FS with an RMR, suppressor height sights, and a threaded barrel. Alright, so before we get any further with this review, I do want to let you guys know that I actually requested this holster from Hidden Hybrid Holsters, and they supplied it free of charge for this review, but that has no effect on how I review it, has no effect on how I review anything that I put on this channel, and that's not how any review should ever be done. I personally even have a problem with other channels doing that. So just want to let you guys know that this is a completely honest review. I just really like these holsters. Some of you guys are familiar with my first video going over my Hidden Hybrid holster for my Walther PPS M2, and I just loved how comfortable it was. And so I've been looking for a good holster for my Glock 19s and even my Glock 45, and so I figured why not try the same holster for my double stacks. And so they sent this out to me, and I've been using it, and I totally dig it. So before I get into too much of my experience with it, let's jump into the specs and details of the holster, and then we'll talk about my experience. So let's kick it off by talking about some of the specs and details. Alright, so this specific holster is a single clip, strong side Appendix holster for a Glock 19 with an RMR guard and suppressor sights. And as the name of their company implies, these are hybrid holsters, which means the front of the holster is made of Kydex and the back of the holster is made of leather. The base price of this holster as of making this video is $89.85, so about $90, which I think is a very fair price when you compare it to the rest of the holster market out there. Other options for the holster are going to have an additional charge, and you have options like adding the claw, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. You have color options and even custom options. If you have a certain way that you want a holster made, you could contact them and let them know and work with them to get a custom holster made. So obviously that would probably cost a little bit more, and there isn't exactly a designated price for that. It's probably something you'd work out when speaking to them about it, but getting a custom holster made is an option available. The Kydex that they use is a .093 thickness. They use a 9 to 10 ounce leather backing with suede, and the suede is nice because it adds grip texture to your clothing to help it stay in place. It does have an adjustable retention screw, and when it comes to retention, we're going to talk about that a little bit more later because there are some things that you should know about hybrid holsters and the kind of retention that they have. The belt clips are adjustable for cant and for ride height, so you can adjust how high it sits on your pants. I personally like to have mine a little bit higher so it's easier to draw, but some people like to put them a little bit lower for better concealment. The clips that they use allow you to tuck in your shirt while keeping your firearm concealed. And then the overall build quality is just really nice. And so now I'm going to get into, I don't want to say pros and cons, because pros and cons for something as personal as a holster can be a little bit subjective. So I'm going to talk about things that I really like about them, and then I'll talk about some things that may not necessarily be cons to me, but they're just things that you guys should maybe be aware of or that you would at least want to know about. So obviously the first thing is I like these holsters, clearly. I think they're very comfortable. I think for a double stack handgun, I don't know if I'll be going back to an all Kydex holster. If I do, it's going to have to be a really, really comfortable holster, and I don't know who makes that yet. But I'm going to be using this Hidden Hybrid holsters for my Glock 19s and my Glock 45 quite regularly. I got it specifically made for my Gen 5 Glock 19 with the RMR, and I'm going to be carrying this quite a bit. And so I like the comfortability of it, I like the quality, I like the simplicity, and I like the concealability. Now, some of the things that I was kind of talking about in my specs and details that I said I'll talk about later are some of the things I just want to bring to your guys' attention. The first one is with the claw. I totally suggest getting the claw because it helps you with the concealability. It pushes your gun in a little bit like that, so it kind of puts the grip more into your body and it keeps it from printing. However, and again, this isn't a con. I really can't even say it's a con, but it's just something to be aware of. Having the claw will slow you down a little bit when you're putting the holster in your pants. I'm just going to be totally honest, because you're trying to bring the holster forward with the clip forward to get it over your belt, but then when you do that, the claw's wanting to go forward. So you're trying to like shimmy the claw in and pulling the clip out. And so it's just a little bit slower. It is not slow by any means, but when comparing to an all Kydex holster with a slick back, a slick front, there's no claw. This is just really fast to put on, and we're talking like milliseconds here. But just wanted to throw that out so you guys are aware of that. It doesn't even get in the way. It's just, it is what it is. So I just wanted to throw that out there. The second thing is that hybrid holsters in general have a different way of retaining the firearm. So if you put it upside down and just shake it, it's gonna fall out because there's no pressure pushing on the leather backing. This is obviously it's pliable, it can move, and so you can't put a steady pressure without having something pressing against it, which is supposed to be your body. So when you take it out like this and you shake it and your firearm falls out, you can't exactly say, oh, that has a problem with retention. You have to put it on and then with your body pressing against the back, then kind of play with the retention, and that's when you're going to notice, okay, wow, when I'm wearing it, it actually does have a lot more retention than I originally thought. So it's just something to be aware of. They don't have like that. There's a little bit of a click or a little bit of a feeling, I guess, of when it is in there. But again, it's not going to be exactly like an all Kydex holster where you have that firm click when you stick it in there, and then people shake it up and down really fast and say, look, I could do parkour with this holster. You're looking at like a level 3 retention holster for that. But for just your average Joe like me and like a lot of you guys watching this, the retention on these holsters is excellent. So again, you just have to be wearing it for that retention. So those are just the things I wanted to point out to you guys. Again, they're not necessarily cons to me because I am aware of them and they're just not that big of a deal. But just want to throw that out there so you guys are aware of it. If you guys are looking for a holster, I definitely recommend hidden hybrid holsters, especially for a double stacked handgun. I think that's the biggest difference for me going from Kydex to a hybrid. Is I notice it more with the double stacked handguns just because they're bigger, they're bulkier, they print more, they dig into your pelvis more, they dig into your stomach more. And so having these hybrid holsters that are comfortable and just built smooth with smooth edges, and they have the claw to help you conceal it better, really big difference that I've noticed. So I definitely recommend it. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. You guys seriously rock. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.